welcome to Cineblast. Today we will be talking about the upcoming movie Thor Ragnarok. The movie comes out this Friday, and I know I'm curious to see how it is. Here to share his curiosity as well, here's Sean Thompson.
Hey everybody, glad to be here.
As you and I both know, the new Thor movie comes out this week, and I have to say, it looks pretty interesting.
I completely agree with you. It looks different and fun, and it's going to be great.
So, how do you feel about the upcoming movie? Any expectations you have?
I am definitely just really excited for this movie. You know, ever since I watched the first trailer, it's just been boatloads of excitement from me. I really feel like this is going to be a different Thor movie than what we've seen before. This is going to be a lot of fun. For the first time, I feel like in the Thor franchise, there's going to be more comedy involved in the movie. And obviously, as always with the Marvel Universe, the action is going to be incredible. The visuals are going to be amazing. And I'm really excited to see how this movie comes out.
I agree with you. I'm totally stoked, especially considering these Thor movies haven't really been, as exciting as all the other Marvel movies. And as the old saying goes, nothing good comes in three. In trilogies, the third movie is always the one that never pans out. Considering how Thor, we don't really go much into detail, especially in the ensemble in the Avenger movies as well. But considering that most people don't know this, but he actually has a pretty comedic sense of timing. It's just that it's never really showcased in any of the movies. In the first Avengers movie, he was just out basically just doing damage control when the T'Challa were invading New York. Age of Ultron, he was just kind of like nowhere to be seen. The plot wasn't really on him. And then in the last Captain America movie, nowhere to be seen because, they were leading up to the events that were going to lead up to the Infinity War. So it's really good to, kind of put this different light on him. Especially, a character like that, he deserves it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You can definitely tell that, Thor is going to get the spotlight here. And, he's had his own movies before, but this one is just going to be so in-your-face, fun, and awesome. And it's really going to be all about Thor, and I'm excited to see that.
So am I. How do you feel about the character as a whole? And as a whole, I mean in his place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and how do you think have the movies fared so far?
Yeah, like we were talking about, Thor has been a little bit maybe underrated and underutilized up to this point. And it's going to be really cool to see Thor in the spotlight in a way that we've never seen him before. Like you talked about, that sense of humor is going to come out. He's going to actually build his own team like the Avengers, and it's going to be his team. And he's going to do that in order to fight this new villain, Hela.
True, and I don't know if you know this, folks, but Thor is an actual to goodness god. He's the only character in that universe that's been introduced so far as a god, aside from his father and other characters in Asgard. But Iron Man, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Black Widow, secret assassin. Thor, some dude with a bow and arrow. Not Thor. Hawkeye. Even I can't remember his name right. Hawkeye, some guy with a bow and arrow. Who else? Bruce Banner. He's not really a god. Has a power, strength like a god.
Mm-hmm.
But this is straight from Norse mythology. This stuff that people read from the ancient times, and this guy has lived thousands of years. So give credit where credit is due. I feel like they haven't really done justice to him, to his character development as a whole.
Yeah, Hela, the villain in this movie, she's also a god, the goddess of death. So I really feel like you need Thor to be the star of this movie, because all of those characters you just mentioned, well, they're awesome all in their own ways. How are they going to take down a god? So, this is going to have to be Thor's team, and Thor is the only one that would be able to take down Hela. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Precisely. And in this movie now, the biggest addition to this movie is going to be the inclusion of the Hulk. Now, considering the last time we saw the Hulk, he was being carried away in the helijet at the end of Age of Ultron. How do you feel about his role in the movie and how he's going to play out?
The Hulk has definitely always been one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And just like Thor, the Hulk's another character that maybe hasn't been utilized to his full potential. So I'm really excited to see the Hulk in his Planet Hulk storyline that's going to be included in this movie. And he's going to be another great addition to this team because, if there's one character that's not a god, but that might have a chance against a god, it is definitely the Hulk. And, we're going to see another side of the Hulk in this movie. He's going to be talking for the first time. He's got more control of his power. So it's just going to be really amazing to see this new side of Hulk in this movie.
It's really unfortunate that Marvel has to include a story about the Hulk within another movie. Now, most people don't know this, but the reason why we haven't gotten a Hulk standalone movie in years is because Universal owns the rights to Hulk, and they don't want to share it with Marvel. So we're most likely never going to get another Hulk movie, at least for the time being. But you're definitely right. They definitely take inspiration from the Hulk, from the Planet Hulk storyline, in which he gets sent off to another planet, in which becomes a gladiator, and he fights, and he eventually rules the planet, which is fantastic. And especially how with him and Thor, they kind of have this, like, it feels like a cop buddy movie.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly.
Thor is kind of like the, just like the veteran cop who's been around the ropes, and Thor's just kind of like the out of control cop. They kind of remind me, if I could say it, Marvel's own version of Lethal Weapon. Hulk is kind of be seen as Mel Gibson, and Thor can be seen as Danny Glover. He's getting too old for this. You know what? So, it feels really great to give two underrated characters the huge spotlight in the movie, especially right before the big ensemble that is Infinity War.
Definitely. And, now that we're building towards Infinity Wars, that's going to be something really special because we've kind of grown up with this Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've been there since the very beginning, since the first Iron Man movie, the first Captain America. That's almost 10 years ago now, maybe even more than 10 years, and we really grew up with these characters. So I think Thor Ragnarok is going to be a really vital piece of this climax that we're building to.
And touching up on that, considering that we haven't seen the movie yet, obviously because it hasn't come out yet, and we talked about the whole universe that Marvel's creating, what do you think the impact this is going to have? Because we both know, as you just said, Infinity War doesn't come out, I want to say, till like May. So, this is like the stretch run right before we get, the, I guess, war to end all wars, right before we move on to the next Marvel phase. What do you think the impact Ragnarok is going to have that's going to lead the audience and us as comic book nerds into Infinity War?
Yeah, I think that Thor Ragnarok is definitely a vital piece as we move towards the climax of Infinity Wars. We've had Civil War, we've had Spider-Man come in Spider-Man Homecoming now, and now with Thor Ragnarok, it's really the last piece before everything comes together. And we're going to get this amazing climax. Like I said, it's been years and years in the making, and we are finally at the end. And it's just going to be extraordinary to see how all of this comes together and the conclusion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And, I feel like it's kind of going to be like when you finish binge watching a show on Netflix, it's going to be like an empty feeling. Like there's really going to be no Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. It's going to be complete. And it hasn't been like that in, like I said, 10 years. So it's going to be really awesome to see this conclusion. And, once it's finished, the impact that this whole series, ever since the first movies, have had on the movies in general, it's really going to be looked back as an amazing time. So I really think it's an exciting time to be a Marvel fan and a movie fan in general, because we're witnessing movie history right here.
I definitely agree with you. It's going to be bittersweet. It's just going to be bittersweet. Most of the audience, especially if you're a fan of the comics as we are, when the first Iron Man came out, we were 15, back in like high school, and now, we're in college, in our mid-20s. So it'll be bittersweet because this is 10 years worth of experiences, of stories, of beautiful storytelling that Marvel has been able to tell. Because in Thor Ragnarok, from here to Infinity War, the group of characters that comes together, because, you have the Guardians of the Galaxy, remember, we have two Avenger squads now, because after Civil War, Captain America has his own squad now, and Iron Man has his own squad as well. So you have those two different Avengers going on, and then on top of that, you have Thor and his crew as well, not to mention the big bad Thanos and the ensemble that he's brought with him as well on top of that. And not to mention, we still haven't gotten any clue about if there's going to be an Infinity Stone in this Thor Ragnarok movie. Because Infinity War, for those of you that don't know, is basically everybody's fighting against this one big bad, which is Thanos. He has the Infinity Gauntlet, which is the 6 Infinity Stones. And throughout the course of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we've only been introduced to, I want to say, maybe 4 or 5. So we're missing one more. So we're just speculating here that we're going to get an Infinity Stone in this movie. Because like you said, 10 years, this is gonna be the end, or as I like to think of it, the beginning, because obviously we're not going to just stop here. They're not going to stop making movies. The amount of billions that Marvel and Disney makes off of this is ridiculous. So I think that they'll definitely be able to continue the story, but with different characters. But you're right, for this part in cinematic history, definitely going to be bittersweet.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really exciting, like you said, to see all these different teams that have been created come together for this one final epic showdown. It is really going to be something to behold.
And it'll be great to see how the audience is going to react to it. Now, let's see what you, the audience, has to think about Thor Ragnarok.
I'm here with two students at the Kane Library, and they just saw the Thor Ragnarok trailer. Are you guys excited about the movie at all?
Yeah. I mean, the Marvel movies look awesome.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a good movie that's going to come out for the fall.
And based on what you guys have seen in the trailer, what are you guys expecting? What do you think is going to happen?
A lot of jokes, a lot of action, pretty much the standard form like I expected to be very entertaining watching the movie. Like, just sort of I expect, especially with this one, like the bumper quality scene's a lot bigger than the last movie.
And hopefully Hulk will have a bigger part.
You saw that gladiator part where
Yeah,
he
yeah.
started eating out the wall.
Are you guys like big Marvel fans?
Yes.
Or are you just
Huge Marvel fan.
I would say I'm definitely more casual. I'm a sheep.
you know more about the franchise and everything? Okay. So, what are you most excited for about this movie?
Thor has two other movies, but I feel like this movie is more so like fun than the other two. The other two seem more serious.
Yeah.
So this one's definitely going to be more laughs than the last one.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe from the movie.
Saying like sort of a facelift from before, because I mean the other ones were like they were fine, but this one sort of seems like they're taking off the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like sort of that style. So
Yeah.
Do you guys have any predictions or anything that you think is gonna happen, or maybe like they're so short it's definitely gonna happen?
I think Loki's probably that's something that has to.
He has
Yeah.
to come back, Loki.
Yeah. But I think Loki's going to end up turning back somehow.
Okay, that might happen. And what do you guys think of his haircut? Like, I know a lot of people are talking about Thor's new haircut.
Oh,
His hair looks like,
Oh, yeah. I wonder how they're going to do it, because in the beginning it looks like he still has the long hair.
yeah. But there's just that one scene with him in the hall, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you cut your hair?" He goes, "Oh, yeah." Do you guys have any other opinions or anything you want to talk about before we let you go about the movie?
I just can't wait to see how they mesh Thor and Guardians at the end.
Yeah.
Because you know how they have the trailers at the end?
Yeah, I love that part. Whenever I see people walking out during the credits, I'm like, you guys don't know. You don't know what's
Because
coming.
there's always something at
Yeah,
the end
and
of
there's
it.
always like
there's
2 or
always,
3
like, a
now.
sneak peek, yeah. So I'm here with another student who has not seen the Thor movie yet, but they have seen the Thor trailer. Can you tell me why you decided to watch the Thor trailer in the first place?
Because I'm actually a big Marvel fan, so when I heard another movie was coming out, I wanted to know what was coming.
So what are you expecting? What do you think is going to happen just based off the trailer?
What do I think is gonna happen? I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be the normal thing. They're gonna make us fall in love with Thor, like his character, and then I think it's gonna be funny because he always goes back and forth between his brother. So I think there's gonna be some humor in there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There's definitely going to be more of a Guardians of the Galaxy feel rather than the
That's true.
old Thor movies. So are you a big Marvel fan, or are you kind of just one of those people that like she watches the movies but she doesn't know that much detail?
I think I'm like by association because my brothers are obsessed with it, so I kind of go and watch with them, and they're good movies, so I can't like not be a fan.
Yeah. So what are you most excited for about this movie? Like, what do you
Chris
think?
Hemsworth.
Definitely Chris Hemsworth is a big plus in that movie. But what are you do you think that anything is going to happen or any big changes are going to occur just based on what you've seen so far with the trailers?
I honestly don't think so because I always think that the movies are all kind of the same. Like there's kind of the same stories going on. Like the main character has like inner issues with something or someone, like a brother or whatever, and then they have to fight a villain. I mean, I feel like it's the same thing, but I'm still gonna watch it.
It is a good movie. It's a good franchise. So now what about Chris Hemsworth's haircut? Did you see in the trailer how the whole kind of not the Hulk? Is it the Hulk? It's the Hulk. Yeah. Did you see how in the movie how the Hulk kind of like complimented his new haircut?
Oh no, I don't remember that part.
That was a part of the movie, right? Or am I just okay?
It could be. I just don't remember.
Because the other guys looked at me too. They were like, I'm like, no, it's part of the movie. But let me think of something else just real quick. Out of the whole trailer, what was your favorite part? Like, what do you still remember to this day? And what do you look forward to seeing later on in the movie?
I don't know how to explain it, but the I'm trying to see it, but I don't remember how the song goes. But the background music. The background music in any trailer always gets me excited for anything. Like even like 50 Shades of Grey when they did the Beyonce remix of that gets me excited. So probably that.
So you're a music fan, okay? So I think that's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything you want to talk about that I haven't gotten a chance to ask you about the movie? Okay. Okay, well thank you so much for your help. So I'm here with another student who has yet to see the movie but is very excited just based off the trailer. So can you tell me what was the most exciting part for you throughout the whole trailer?
Seeing Hulk, that was pretty exciting because I'm a big Hulk fan and I was not expecting him to be there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was. And then when he showed up, everyone was just like, yes, like more Hulk.
Yeah.
So, are you a big Marvel fan, or is it just mainly the Hulk that you're very excited?
I like Marvel movies. They're really nice movies. But like, I don't know. Like, DC has better villains.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Joker, no one can beat the Joker.
That's true. I do like the villains way more in DC, but I'm not really a big DC fan. Like, I'm more of a Marvel person.
Right.
So, throughout the whole franchise, I know in this movie, what are you expecting to happen just based off the trailer that you've seen?
I think Thor, he's sent to another world. I think so. And like kind of he finds himself. I think like his hammer breaking is kind of like him finding himself again and like his powers and stuff.
And what do you other than Thor and the hammers, like, do you think you're gonna see any other different characters come into the movie that you're not expecting other than the Hulk?
I mean, I can't think of any because I don't see I see Hulk, so he's expected. So
Yeah, that's true. You must be really excited for the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about his haircut? How do you feel about the haircut?
Hulk's haircut.
Yeah, Thor's haircut. Cause I don't know if you remember.
Hulk got a haircut too. They all have like fresh cuts.
Oh, they
now.
all got it?
Yeah.
I just know, like, in the one scene of the trailer, the Hulk goes like, oh, you got a haircut, and then Thor's like, yeah, you like it? Like, it's a whole
Really?
shaven head.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like it. I like the long hair too. It was kind of like symbol of Thor.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, I'm very surprised that he cut his hair, because it is, like, it's Thor. Like, he needs that godly haircut.
Yeah, but I guess like his character changing and stuff, it kind of like reflects in his face, like in his head too.
That could be a nice way to put it. What about Loki? How do you feel about Loki?
Loki, I mean, yeah, he's the backstabber, so
Yeah.
can't really.
Do you think he's gonna make an appearance at all or anything?
Oh yeah, I
like
saw
that?
him in the trailer, so he was in the trailer, so he will probably be there.
Okay, cool. And then after this movie, what do you think is gonna be expected of the Marvel industry? Like, do you think they're gonna come out with more movies of Thor, or like they're gonna start making Hulk movies? What else?
Oh yeah, I think they're definitely going for Infinity War. It's like the big Marvel movie, and that's where like I saw like a leaked trailer for that somehow, and it showed like Thor with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's kind of like connecting everything together. So they're
Yeah.
probably gonna. Yeah,
That's what I like about the Thor, and even DC, like, they do that where they'll put one movie out, but it connects to a whole different, bigger
Right.
picture. Is there anything that you want to talk about, or that you want to cover that I haven't gotten a chance to ask you about?
No, it was pretty good. The interview. Was
Okay.
nice.
Well, thanks for watching.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Sean, for joining us today.
No problem. Happy to be here.
That's it for us at Cineblast. We'll see you next time as we talk about our favorite movies of 2017.